Hey, this is Mark, and I've got yet another case of long screw damage. This is an iPhone 6 Plus, so this will be episode 250 of the long screw damage show. This should be pretty straightforward. It's currently not booting, and that is likely because some of the I2C communication lines that run under this screw bracket are either severed or shorted to ground.
Awesome. I'm going to close it, and then I want you to put it in Mom, this is beautiful.
So it looks like things are a bit spongy outside of that pad for the screw bracket. So we'll just shave this top layer off and see what it looks like underneath.
I think that was pretty much it. I'm just chopping the last of the stuff, and then I'm going to wait for the needles to heat up. I don't need any more help right now, but thank you. You were very helpful.
And it is quite a mess under here. Hello, Chuni Perez from Uruguay. Alright, so I think I've gotten enough of this top layer off, and looks like there's a lot of delamination in this material between the layers, which is not a big deal. I just kind of want to get it out of there to get it out of my way. I can start looking at what kind of actual trace damage there is to repair here. It looks like right there there's a line that may be broken. Alright, so I'm going to get this a little wet so I can see a little better. So it's not immediately obvious what lines are broken here. This is just some ground, so I'm not worried about that. So what I'm going to do is just try to expose a little bit of the ends of these lines, kind of both ends of them, so I can use continuity mode to tell which ones have a break in them. So this is the part that takes a very delicate touch, because I don't want to cause a break while I'm exposing these. And sometimes it happens and there's just no avoiding it. It's just the nature of this particular repair. This is another chunk of ground. I'm just going to get that out of there, get it out of the way. It's not really necessary for the function of the device. All right. Let's see what we have under here. With this one trace down here, I have to be really careful because it disappears under this cap, and it's really a pain to deal with if it breaks off right next to the cap. So it's obviously broken. I'm just going to cut that little flap of it off so that I don't accidentally pull off more of it than I want to. So there's the end of it that I'm going to use to connect my jumper to. And now I got to find the rest of it, which is going to be down here. All right. So this is going to connect up to that little bit of trace there. This is going to connect to this trace here. And let's see what kind of shape. That via is pretty solid, so that's good. That's going to connect to this third line here. And then we've got ground, and then another line that runs right here to this via, which is also pretty solid. So I don't have to worry about it having disconnected from the layer below it. And then the next trace up runs over this way. Let's see. Runs over to a via here. All right, and then I've got this guy down here, which just kind of runs around these two vias and to another via that's right here. All right, and then next trace after that one is more ground, and then this trace up here, which runs to a via that is right here. I'm getting lucky. All of these vias are not detached from the layer below them, so it doesn't look like I'm going to need to go down into the third layer for this particular repair. All right, and then we've got ground again, and then a trace here that kind of runs around all of this and down this way. So I'll just expose the end of it down here. So that's it right there. Then we've got three traces over here that are just mostly straight, and those don't appear to be damaged, so I'm not going to worry about them. And then, ooh, I may have spoken too soon. This via, both of these vias seem very spongy, so they may be disconnected from the third layer. That kind of sucks. I might have to dig down for these guys. But for now I can start testing, seeing what is broken and what is not. So this bottom one obviously is broken. The next one I'm not so sure. Nope, not broken. And then the next one. That one does seem to be broken. All right. Not broken. Not broken. Not broken. Not broken. Not broken. And then these guys, I don't know about these guys. They're obviously not broken along there, but they could be broken below. But I think I'm going to just start with repairing the two that I know are damaged, which is this one and this one. And then give it a test and see how it goes. Let's see. Got some people, oh yeah, using UV light to see the traces. Yeah, that is definitely useful. And I would certainly recommend it when you're starting out if you have that option. I don't really like the idea of focusing UV light into my eyeballs with the microscope. It's probably fine, but I just prefer not to, and I've done so many of these that I kind of already know where everything is, so I don't really find it that helpful. But I know guys who have rigged up UV light in their microscope lights, so like a third of the LEDs are now UV, which definitely makes it a lot easier when you're not familiar with what the trace layout looks like. But I don't know, there's a part of me that worries about shining pure UV light directly into your eyeballs. I don't think that's probably great for them. This one's always a pain to do without connecting to that ground. All right, let's see if that's going to be good enough or if I grounded it. Yep, that's grounded. I thought it might be. All right, I'm going to see if I can maybe cut a little bit more of this ground away. Oh, now where did my wire go? Lost my wire.
You working on French, Amelia? I'm trying to import this. Alright, well, but you can spend another couple of minutes doing that, but it's almost 6, so I want you to get started on. At least in
There we go. That should be good. All right, so the two that were definitely cut are repaired now. These two are still a little bit of a concern, but I kind of just want to see if this will boot up before I start worrying about possible third layer trace repair. All right, let's see. Not sure if this battery is charged. I'll just try and boot it off of DC power supply. And I'm getting 70 milliamps flashing back down to 0. So it looks like I probably will have to deal with those third layer traces. Just going to quickly check ZXW and see if it says what those traces are. I can't remember what traces ZXW shows you. Let's see. Yeah, ZXW does show, and it is AP to codec, XSP I2S2D out and codec to AP XSP I2S2D in. No clue what they are. I know that they're going to be related to data for audio. I don't really know if they're necessary for booting. I wouldn't think so. Let me just check and make sure I didn't accidentally ground this guy down here. Yeah, he's grounded. Okay. Now, let's see if just moving it a little helped. Yep, okay. It was just touching ground. Try this again. So now looks like it is booting on DC power supply, but I'm not seeing. Okay, I've got backlight. I don't know if you can see that, if the camera will pick it up. I have backlight but no image. So that's kind of odd. Alright, I guess I will rule out the possibility that my tester screen is now bad. Try a different screen, see what happens. Ah, there we go. Now I've got image. This screen is not great either, though. I think it's time for me to retire some of these iPhone 6 Plus test screens. Oh, here's my original OEM, actually from Apple screen, which I believe has working image, but half the touch doesn't work, or it may have lines in the display, but we'll see. Backlight and no image with this one too. Alright, well, I am not at all convinced that there's an image problem. Let's try another one. Okay, so 3 of these screens give me backlight with no image, and one of them gave me image, but the flex was obviously a little screwy. So So I don't know. Let's go back to this one that actually had image. So that's weird. With pressure, I'm getting image to kind of come and go, which makes me wonder if it could be the LCD connector. No, those pins all look good. And there's no long screw damage there, which is definitely that can take out image. Let's see if it looks like chestnut was damaged. Sometimes tools slip and damage chestnut. No, that looks okay. So I don't know. This is really weird. Pressure seems to fix the problem. Let's give this another try. So I got a flash of Apple logo for a second with this screen, and then it went away. Yeah, I'm still getting Apple logo for a second sometimes. Here we go. With pressure directly on the connector. That's really weird. Yeah, so when I put direct pressure right on the connector, I'm getting image. Let's just see if I can keep it like that and get it fully booted. Yeah, there we go. But no touch. All right, so definitely something going on here. Something going on with image at the connector, or possibly touch IC. You wouldn't believe how common it is for a device that comes in for long screw damage to also need the touch ICs replaced. All right, let's see. And sorry if I'm not paying much attention to chat. It's just kind of, I just want to work on this and get it done. All right. Should I just go ahead and change the touch ICs, or let me just probe this connector really quick. So I know sometimes these chokes can cause problems with image. All right. I don't know, that's just really, really weird that pressure on LCD connector is making image come and go. I'm going to try a little trick that sometimes works with these pins. Need to get my other tweezers for this. Sometimes this works with these kinds of weird connector-related image problems. So I'm just kind of pushing the pins back so that this inside part makes better contact with the screen. Oh, got my positive and negative touching on my DC power supply. I was wondering why I was smelling something hot. All right, let's see if that makes a difference. And yes, that seems to have solved the image problem. But it also seems like it's definitely got touch problems as well. So now with no pressure, I do have a steady Apple logo. So I'll just go ahead and do the M1 jumper under Mason, and then we'll boot this up fully and see if we have working touch. I'll just take a second to check the chat and see what I'm missing. Oh yeah, checking if it went into DFU or recovery. I did think of that, but because I had seen the Apple logo, I was pretty confident it wasn't that. And the way I have things situated here, it's kind of a pain in the ass to hook it up to iTunes. Okay. All right, we're gonna do the Mason M1 jumper. All right, come on, wire. Do what I want you to. Oh, okay. Wondering why it seemed like this was taking a lot longer than it should be, and it's because I was working on the hot plate earlier, which I use about 30 degrees Celsius less than when I'm not working on the hot plate. There we go. that should do it. All right. I just need to cool this board down a little bit, and hopefully we'll be in business. Oh, well. Maybe I didn't need to do Touch IC at all. Maybe it was just the fact that I have picked up a little chunk of solder off of my board, my work surface, and smushed it in the connector. Whoops. Well, oh well. This guy got preventative touch disease repair. That's funny. I thought to check the connector before troubleshooting image problems because it would be really abnormal for that type of problem to exist. But with touch problems, I don't even think to check the connector because that's never what the root cause of the issue is. Let's see. There we go. All right, we're booting up, and hopefully we're going to have working touch. And then I'm just going to end the stream at that point. I'll reassemble the device and check and make sure that all the audio works. If it doesn't, then I may stream again and go down into the third layer for those audio lines that were kind of spongy, but that doesn't always mean that they're broken. So I definitely want to see if things work before I start trying to fix something that may not be a problem. But touch works and image works, so this one is probably good. If I need to do any more work on the image or the audio lines, I'll stream again. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you watching. Have a good one.